You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion, delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest. And repeat offender on Ron Siegel Radio, Kathleen Garito is with us, KG Interior Designs from the beautiful state of Florida in the United States. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Celebrating today. I don't know about this one. National Without a Scalpel Day. Does that mean no surgeries today, or do they use a rock or an arrow, or I don't know what that would mean. National Fig Newton Day. Well, it's been a long time since I've had a Fig Newton. That brings back memories to youth. I might have to try and, I have to see if I can get my grandson on Fig Newton, see if he ever has even had one of those. And National Nothing Day. Can you imagine if our broadcast was a nothing day broadcast? We would just sit here with dead air. I don't know that anybody would want to listen to that. Just throw that out there. Let's see what the markets are doing. The Dow Jones Industrial Average down 210 points. The S&P 500 is down 17. The NASDAQ is down 41. Oil, pretty nice, up 20 cents a barrel. Glad to see it's not up more than that. In the 10-year Treasury, that one's taken a jump up almost 11 basis points, 4.051. We'll talk about that one in a minute. Gasoline. I don't know if we want to even talk about gasoline. This is fascinating because I was on the road yesterday, and silly me, I filled up my car just before I left the hotel, or just after we left the hotel. $5.59 a gallon of gasoline. $5.59. Figured driving down the road, okay, it's going to go along the freeway. I get out in the middle of Tullyville, and I looked over to my wife and I said, can you believe that their gas over here? $4.06 a gallon. $4.06. Statewide average, $4.55. Don't laugh at us, Kathleen. Okay, and I'm looking Florida, where Kathleen is. State average in Florida, because she's in America, that's a different pricing there. $3.07 a gallon in Florida. Josh is at $3.81, so not too shabby there. And I just to get my blood boiling, my assistant Arian, she's paying $2.68 a gallon in Mississippi. $2.68 a gallon. While we're sitting here at $4.55 in California. Wonder why. Gavin says it's because the oil companies just like to gouge Californians, because it's got to be Californians, because it's not happening anywhere else in the country that we're paying these kind of prices. Washington used to be close to California. They're at $4.01 a gallon. Hawaii, $4.67, so they're still a little bit above us. Although I will have to make a trip over there, although we have no budget, just to see if they're correct, that the averages are correct in Hawaii. I'll do that as a public service. Speaking of public services, a lot going on right now in the marketplace. And, watching a lot of these different issues So if you missed our broadcast last week, we were chatting about how we're able to help people with debts. And I'll tell you in a minute in the Mortgage Minute about the manufacturing index, worst number, non-pandemic number since 2001. So we are heading into a recession. Are you planning for it? Are you ready just in case? We've been using our credit cards. They're maxed out. We've been getting all kinds of lines of credit. Those are maxed out. Car payments are outrageous. Some people even went and got their public student loan payments converted to private. Not good. But there is, and then now we've got these buy now, pay later programs that don't even show up on a credit report. So you can really get yourself in good trouble there. No, I'm not just bringing doom and gloom. We spoke to Chris Corrales last week, and Chris has a product. Think about this. Get out of debt, generally in 5 years or less, not filing bankruptcy, getting a payment plan in place with your creditors. They do that. They negotiate it for you. Here's the best part that Chris didn't even talk about. If they don't solve your problem, if they don't get a plan for you, they don't charge you anything. How much better could that be? So in many instances, you're paying about half of what is owed. You say, well, Ron, I have this obligation. I feel bad. Do you really feel bad? Did you look at the earnings reports of the big banks in the last couple of days? JP Morgan Chase, largest profits in history is what they reported, largest banking profits in history. So when they're charging you 30% on your interest, if they take a haircut to 10, 15%, don't feel so bad. Now, I know you agreed to it, but the market's changed. And if they're willing to negotiate that with you, why wouldn't you? Think about that concept. There are solutions, but the one that is not a solution is putting your head in the sand. Don't do that. So if you want to talk about ways of solving the credit card debt that you may already have, let's chat about that, because the next step after that is then, if you remember the day before Chris was on, Sarah Perkins was with us. Blue Water Credit. We also have them under creditsanitizer.com. So they'll help you get that credit report cleaned up. Now, usually after about 4 to 6 months in Chris's program, you're going to start seeing your credit scores improve. Why? Because you're paying as agreed on that debt. You're lowering the debts. So you'll probably see some credit improvements there. But if you don't, Sarah Perkins is standing by to help you. And then look at getting a new house. Get all that debt cleaned up. And maybe you'll be able to stop renting, start buying, build family wealth. That's the issues that we're going to be talking about. So today we're going to look at home ownership. Is it still at the heart of the American dream? Once you own the home, you don't have to talk to your landlord about decorating it the right way. We're going to talk to Kathleen Garito about that one when we come back. And 2024 credit resolution, the importance of checking your FICO scores and credit reports in the new year. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Hey there, friends. Wondering if now is the right time to buy a home? Or are you waiting for a bunch of foreclosures? The facts speak loud and clear. Defaults and foreclosures are down, sure. We might be headed towards a recession. But did you know interest rates typically drop and real estate values often go up during a recession? So what are you waiting for? Higher prices or higher payments? Don't navigate these waters alone. Connect with RonSiegelRadio.com today. That's RonSiegelRadio.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And every day at this time, OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates. They do not tell us points paid or points received or the APR. They tell us locked rates with consumers across 42% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. 30-year conforming loans down. Now, these are Friday's numbers. Markets were closed yesterday. Friday's closing numbers, 30-year conforming down 6.576. 30-year jumbos were up 6.996. 30-year FHA down 6.376. 30-year USDA loans. Rural areas, generally no down payment, 6.347. That was down. And, of course, we always leave it best for last. The best loan on the market for those that earned it, that would be the 30-year VA loan, 6.132. That was down on Friday. And each morning, every business day, we put out a report on what we see in the mortgage world. You can get that report free to you. We send it out by email as early as the data allows. rsrmarketminute.com, rsrmarketminute.com. So now let's take a look at what's going on today, because that was Friday's numbers. Today we're looking at it. We've still got the S&P 500 is down 21 points. The high is, we'll talk about this high that we've been on. 10-year Treasury's up 11 basis points. The mortgage bonds, bond prices themselves, those are down 20 basis points, which means rates are rising. Why? Well, let's look at a few different things. Raphael Bostic, Atlanta Fan president, and now he's a voting member, said that inflation must be firmly and surely getting back to their 2% target before cutting rates. He feels it would be a bad outcome if they started to ease and inflation started to rise up and down like a seesaw, kind of like his commentary, up and down. He also is concerned about the conflict in the Red Sea and if that was going to impact inflation. You got to love Fed people. So we're already looking at the numbers of the inflation being right around that 2% level. If you look over the last 6 months instead of 12 months, we're probably under the 2% level on both the PCE and the CPI. Fed likes PCE, but both of those are under 2%, and they've been that way for a little while now. So I don't know what Mr. Bostic is looking for, but spooking the market is the word. And we know that the Federal Reserve always overdoes it. So they went up they went up too quickly. I'm sorry, let me put it backtrack. They were low, stayed there too long. They should have been going up in 2021, but they didn't. They waited till 2022 to kill the market, went up too quickly. Now they're going to leave them high too long, and then they were going to get into a recession, and they're going to say, oh, we got to start cutting quickly in order to get the economy back on track. Just the way the Fed works, been done that way for a long time. We're going to watch it happen again. CoreLogic reported that rent prices are now up 2.7% year over year in November, which is a slight increase from 2.5 in the previous report, and the first uptick since May of 2022. The rise was from a very low level, and for perspective, rents were rising at a pace of 7.5% this time last year. The latest CPI report showed that shelter costs rose by 6.2%, which is 3.5% higher than what we were actually seeing because of the lag effect. When you multiply that difference by the shelter weighting in the CPI, it shows that shelter is being overstated by 1.5%. That would mean that core CPI should be closer to 2.4% instead of 3.9%. Hello, Mr. Bostic, are you listening? When you do the same exercise with the Fed's favorite target, core PCE, it would be 2.3% instead of 3.2%. When looking at the last 6 months of core PCE and annualizing it, which is a metric Chairman Powell is looking at to see where inflation is heading, PCE is at 1.85%. Hello, Mr. Bostic, wake up, please. I think we know that you're sleeping somewhere. Please, please wake up before it's too late. The New York Manufacturing Index for January was reported at negative 43.7. Zero means we're not growing or not contracting. Negative 43.7, the lowest since 2001. Again, non-pandemic, the low. Market was expecting negative 5. Not good news with what we're seeing right here. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call. 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. No Ghostbusters today. No Ghostbusters. But you know something? If you've got no taste and no vision like me, who are you going to call? Well, Kathleen Garito is with us. She has taste. She has vision. She knows how to make your house beautiful. So good morning, Kathleen.
Good morning. How are you? It's almost good afternoon. It is good afternoon here.
Good afternoon there. That's right. Sorry about that. You're out in America. We're still here in Calizuela. So, but I can't even say that we're here because of the good weather. You've got probably better weather than we do.
It's the first day we've had good weather. It's been raining for a long time here.
Is that water that comes out of the sky? We don't usually see that in California.
Yeah, we've seen it all year round this time. I don't know why.
So I guess you're going to probably want to move back to California then.
I'm staying here. I'm good.
So let's talk about design. Where are we heading? I mean, it's the beginning of the year. Usually we start seeing, everything. There's these cycles from what I see. What goes around comes around. Sometimes it takes. Heck, even what's her name, Lainey Wilson, wearing bell bottoms. When I was in high school, I think bell bottoms were popular then.
It's all about the 70s, I think. I feel with clothing, at least. And a lot of things that we're seeing out there today are all coming back. Wallpaper, but in a totally different way.
What does that mean in a different way?
Well, it's not the avocado. It's not with the yellow. It's either neutral tones or in grays or in bright colors, but just more modern and hip. It just brings a room to life. We could use textures. We use prints.
So there is prints. It's not like it's just you're replacing the gray paint with gray wallpaper.
No, gray's kind of fizzling out. We're doing more. I'm seeing more taupes and more like organic and natural tones. More wood tones is what we're using more of.
Wood tones, okay.
Wood tones. So I'm doing several homes here with hardwood floors, and then we're doing wood tones. Remember back in the day where we had oak and maple? Well, right. We have the white oak coming back in cabinetry. So I'm seeing a little bit more of that. And it's a lot of the clients, believe it or not, that are coming here from California that want more of that organic and light look, more of that coastal look.
So it is the light look that they're going for.
Yes, but at the same time, we're doing rooms, you'll see even in magazines, we're doing rooms darker green, darker blue. So it just gives it this whole vibe with adding maybe some gold brassy fixtures to it, like light fixtures. And I'm doing a lot of fixtures in kitchen and bathrooms in the gold brass versus the chrome or the brushed nickel. I'm doing more of the gold tones.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's just fresh.
Well, I guess that's what helps keep you busy.
Yes, besides all the grays. I'm kind of grayed out. I've done so many homes in the grays. It's kind of nice to switch it up a little bit.
So how often is it economical or feasible or practical for people to change with the style?
No, it's not. I mean, my house is all gray, my house out here. And it's still modern and hip, and it's going to be fresh for a long time. I'm not going to go and change all the countertops and cabinets, but you could switch the accessories and artwork into different colors, maybe colors that are predominantly in style, So maybe it's more of the blue tones and the green tones that we're seeing and some of the golds that are coming out.
Interesting. Okay, so how does somebody get started doing this? Do they call you with a budget? Do they call you and say, take a look at what I have? How does somebody, how does the, you and I talk frequently about the, what's new and what the trends are, but we never really get into the practicality of how does working with an interior designer?
I think that's a great question. I I've just launched one podcast, and my podcast that's being launched on the 18th is talking about all of this. So when clients go into a remodel or they're looking to redo rooms, I always say hire a professional. It will save you time and money. And come up with a game plan. Don't just go spending money doing stuff one thing at a time. So, for example, if I do a kitchen for a client, I come in, I take a look at it, we get a contractor in, he gives us a quote on kind of how I want the layout, what kind of materials we're going to use. So the client knows between lighting and fixtures and pulls and knobs and the cabinetry and the flooring and all of that, they know up front what it's going to cost. So they'll know whether or not it's in their budget. Never go into it blindsided, because it's going to cost you hundreds of $1,000s more. And I always tell them leave about 10% to maybe even 15 if it's an older home to the side, just in case we start opening up walls and we find electrical issues or plumbing issues that we're going to have to fix before we put the kitchen together.
So when we come back, I want to chat with you because you put together the budget, but what if I only have, a percentage of that available now? Can I start now and do parts of this? We'll talk about that when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. Home ownership is still at the heart of the American dream. We'll talk about that. 2024 credit resolution, the importance of checking your FICO scores and credit reports in the new year. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306. 1990 800-306-1990 or ronsiegelradio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
79% of all credit reports have errors that should be corrected through factual disputing. You could be saving thousands every year if your report was accurate. CreditSanitizer.com provides a free credit report audit when you furnish a specific $1 credit report. You can use this information to request corrections to your report and potentially save thousands of dollars. Get your free credit audit at CreditSanitizer.com. That's CreditSanitizer.com for a free credit report audit. CreditSanitizer.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Home ownership is still at the heart of the American dream. Buying a home is a powerful decision. It remains at the heart of the American dream. Unlike renting, owning a home means more than just having a place to live. It offers a sense of belonging, stability, and freedom. According to Nicole Bauschad, senior economist at Zillow, the American dream is still owning a home. There's a lot of pent-up demand for ownership that isn't going away. Let's explore just a few of the reasons why so many Americans continue to value home ownership. The financial benefits of owning a home. One possible reason home ownership is viewed so highly is because owning a home is a significant wealth-building tool. That may be why Jessica Lotz, Deputy Chief and VP of Research at the National Association of Realtors, says, quote, homeownership is the number one way to build wealth in America, unquote. Over time, owning a home not only helps boost your own net worth, but it also sets future generations up for success as you pass that wealth down. Habitat for Humanity explains, quote, overall, homeownership promotes wealth building by acting as a forced savings mechanism and through home value appreciation. Homeowners make monthly payments that increase their equity in their homes by paying down the principal balance of their mortgage. In addition, owning a home promotes intergenerational homeownership and wealth building. Children of homeowners transition to homeownership earlier, lengthening the period over which they can accumulate wealth, unquote. They can also provide meaningful financial stability compared to renting. When you buy with a fixed-rate mortgage, you can lock in your monthly housing payments for the length of your home loan. The non-financial benefits of homeownership. But owning a home offers more than just financial benefits. It benefits you socially And emotionally, too, your home provides feelings of achievement, responsibility, and more. In a recent survey, Fannie Mae outlines just a few of these more emotionally driven benefits, including the top 3 were having control over what you do with your living space, 94%. To having a sense of privacy and security, 91%. And having a good place for your family or to raise your children, 90%. What does that mean for you? If your idea of the American dream involves greater freedom, security, and prosperity, homeownership could be a key player in bringing that dream to life. And with mortgage rates now on a downtrend, it might be a good time for you to consider making a move. If you're ready and able to buy, know that there are incredible benefits waiting at the end of your journey. You'll gain more than just a home. It's a place to grow your wealth and call your very own. Like Ksenia Potapov, economist at First American, says, quote, homeownership remains an important driver of wealth accumulation and the largest source of total wealth among most households. Bottom line, buying a home is a powerful decision, and the cornerstone of your American dream of finding a place to call your own is part of your American dream. Give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. That's the Real-Time Real Estate segment, brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Continue our conversation. Kathleen Garito is with us, KG Interior Designs, coming to us from the Sunshine State of Florida. So before the break, if you were with us, if you missed it, sorry, you shouldn't have. But you can catch the replay, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. So we're chatting about the business aspect, or the putting together a plan on working with an interior designer for your new home.
Right.
And I would suggest in many, many instances, probably most instances that I've come across, when you work with a professional, they don't charge anything. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't cost you anything because of the expertise that they bring. Think about this one, and I just saw this again over the weekend in a meme. If you think education's expensive, try ignorance, right? So working with somebody like Kathleen, she knows where to go and get the stuff, which is probably going to be cheaper than what you could do. She knows how to do it right the first time, which is going to save you money.
Right.
But we were talking about putting together a budget. And Kathleen mentioned about putting together a budget. Obviously, she realizes something that they haven't been able to figure out on these DIY shows on TV, that you've got to have a contingency plan for the unexpected, 10 to 15% she talked about. But my question is, Kathleen, if you come in and you look at the downstairs of my house, a lot of us in this area have 2-story homes. And you say, okay, we're going to redo the kitchen, and we should probably look at what the living room needs and the dining room and maybe the family room and the bathroom downstairs. Yeah, it's from the 60s. It might need a little bit of work. And you come up with, and I'm just going to throw out a number. It does not mean a thing. But if you throw out a number and it says, okay, we need to spend $75,000.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, okay, well, Kathleen, I've only got about 35. Can we start and do maybe half the project or a third of the project, and then come back next year and say, okay, I've raised more money, I can do something else? Is that feasible?
It's what I do every day, because so many clients get into it and they realize they're totally over budget of what they want to do. So what I tell them is do the remodel in the most important areas that everybody's going to see. If you're going to entertain, they're going to see. The other rooms become secondary. So maybe we'll start off in the kitchen. My other thing, Ron, is I always ask my clients, what's your plan in this house? Is it your forever home, or are you moving in 5 years? Because if you're moving in 5 years, maybe we spray paint, spray all the cabinets and add a new countertop, and it looks beautiful. So when you resell, you get the value, instead of dumping $95,000 into a kitchen and not seeing that return when you go to sell it. So I always make sure I know my clients' long-term and short-term plan.
That's a big issue right there, because I think about this. If you do watch many people are watching those HGTV and the shows on there, and they do look at these remodels, and you never hear them talk about that fact. But if you're doing a flip, that's what the flippers are looking at, is how can I make the house beautiful
Absolutely.
for the least possible cost?
I mean, you'd be amazed at the homes that I've just transitioned over countertops and some new fresh paint on some wood cabinets, and it looks like a whole new place that we spent $45,000 on. And we really didn't spend that much. Maybe it was 15 or maybe it was 10,000, depending on what kind of quartz we used. But
See that, and so now you've made it look new, fresh, and modern. And
right. And not everybody can have a brand new kitchen at 70,000 or 60,000, which is a pretty good average, at least down here. And I know California is pretty close to that as well. And so a lot of people don't realize how much it costs. So you can, even if it's long-term in their house, they can do things to really make it feel like it's fresh and brand new.
That's an interesting point. So you don't have to do the whole major renovation or remodel if you to make it look fresh and great again.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I would imagine that this might be, for some people, this might be the time of year that you really start thinking about that. You know, you take that tax refund and you can probably make your house get a little facelift, so to speak.
Exactly. It's like December and January are probably my busiest times. Everybody's like, you probably just wind down in December. I'm like, I go all the way till December 23rd. And then I ramp back up because we're doing all the pre-plan for all of our jobs to start January, February, March, once they get their tax returns or they just want to start the project in January. So this is like my busiest time of the year.
Interesting. Okay. So now is that something that is because you're in the Sun Belt, or is that a nationwide type of a cycle?
Because we're busy?
No, the timing. You know, because obviously
the timing was the same in California too.
Okay.
They were thinking of remodeling in January. They would hire me November, December, so we can pull all the materials. So when the GC starts, all demo, we have all the materials specified. They're already at the property or they're already at the places we ordered them in, and the GC doesn't have any holdups.
Okay, I'm a simple guy. What's a GC?
General contractor.
Oh, okay. I'm just simple. I don't even know how to use a screwdriver. So when you start getting into that stuff, it's above my intellect.
And that's my other thing too. I see so much out there with general contractors. I just say to anybody out there thinking of doing a remodel, go to the state license board for general contractors, run their license, and make sure they're insured and they're in good standing. I'm seeing so much fraud, especially down here in South Florida. But I saw it even in California. It's just important to know who you hire. So regardless if you know them through a friend or the church or anything else, just make sure you run his number and make sure that they're credible.
So that brings up another question, because I just heard this again over the weekend, that you're hiring general contractors and they're great for the first 95% of the project. And that last 5%, they're MIA.
Yeah, and we're having the same issue out here with pool companies. So they're there in the beginning, moving, hustling, digging the holes or doing the remodel, whatever. And then they start taking bigger jobs on and they vacate these jobs and move to the next, or actually they're floating the money. So they don't have the money to finish the rest of the job, or the job that they should come back to is so minor. They'd just rather be at the big job getting the money. Yeah, it's a vicious little cycle, and you have to stay on top of them.
How do you protect yourself from those things? I don't understand. How do you do that?
Just try to get a good referral, and also just do a background check on them. You know, go to the state license board and make sure they're credible, and that you check references on them. Call other people that, you know, have used their services. Go look at their work. Go make sure it's very detailed, because sometimes it's not. I walk into some of these jobs and the tiles laid crooked, or it drives me crazy if they could just do that quality work.
Interesting. And again, that's another, I'll throw the shameless plug out there. It's another good reason to use somebody like Kathleen, because, you know, I do one job every 3 years or 4 years. You're bringing on a contractor to do a job a week or something like that.
Right.
So they're going to look after making sure that you're happy way quicker than they're going to make sure I'm happy.
Right.
Just throw that out there as well. So again, think about the cost of ignorance. Just saying. We're going to continue our conversation with Kathleen Garito when we come back. 2024 credit resolution, the importance of checking your FICO scores and credit reports in the new year, and more. Reach me anytime off air, number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report and it is wrong. What are you doing about it? Credit Sanitizer has the solution. 2024 credit resolution. The importance of checking your FICO scores and credit reports in the new year, the start of the new year, can be a great time to set goals that could improve your life in the days ahead. Many people set resolutions to take better care of their health, spend time with family and friends, travel more, or make wiser financial choices. Yet there's another key New Year's resolution that you should consider adding to your list. Checking your credit. Checking your FICO scores and your credit reports are smart habits to develop. I'm going to give you a guide that'll help you understand why reviewing your credit is so important, how your credit information can impact your financial life, and simple steps you can take to improve your credit if you're not happy with its current condition. Your credit history has the potential to impact your life in many ways. Lenders, credit card issuers, and other companies often review your credit history to assess your risk as a potential customer when you apply for credit. As a result, negative information on your credit reports could make it difficult, sometimes impossible, to qualify for loans, credit cards, an apartment, or even to land certain jobs. Because there are so many opportunities for your credit history to affect your financial life, it's important to know what others see when they review your credit reports. You can accomplish this with this goal with routine credit checks from all 3 credit bureaus. Checking your credit report is simple, fast, and free. You can visit annualcreditreport.com to request a free credit report from each of the 3 major bureaus, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. You might have the right to a free credit report from each bureau once every 12 months, courtesy of Fair Credit Reporting Act. However, each credit bureau now gives consumers access to a free credit report as often as once a week as a courtesy. Why checking your FICO score is important. In addition to keeping tabs on your 3 credit reports, it's also essential to check your FICO scores on a consistent basis. 90% of top lenders use FICO scores, not FACO scores, not Vantage scores, FICO scores. So if you apply for a loan, credit card, or other financing product, there's a good chance a lender will use a FICO score not only to determine whether you qualify, but to set your interest rate and borrowing terms. A good FICO score could save you thousands of dollars. We're going to give you an example that illustrates the saving potential that a higher FICO score could be worth if you were financing $391,000, call it $392,000, 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. Again, $391,800 is the exact number we use because it's the median home price as of October 2023. FICO score, 760 to 850, APR, 6.45. These change a little bit, so don't, just get the idea. Don't worry about the exact here. Payment, 2464. 700 to 759 FICO score, 6.67 is the APR, 2521 is the payment. 680 to 699, 6.85. Notice they're going up about 20 basis points each time. 2567 is the payment. 660 to 679, 7.06 APR, 2624. FICO score, 640 to 659, 7.494 APR. 2738 is the payment. 620 to 639, 8.04 is the APR. 2886. Consider the first row and the bottom row of what I just read to you. The difference between 8.04 and 6.451 APR might not seem that drastic. Yeah, when you break down the numbers, you'd pay an extra $422 a month for the mortgage if you had that lower score. Where do you check your FICO scores? Cleanall3.com. Cleanall3.com. We've set up that link for you. Cleanall3.com. You can go there. Yes, it does cost you to check your FICO scores. Doesn't cost you for the report. They're going to actually give you a report that's more in-depth and detailed than the report you're going to get from annual credit report. Cleanall3.com. You can go there. I'll tell you this. I pay to monitor my credit and my wife's credit. I look at them like a hawk. Now, I manipulate them sometimes, so I'll let our utilization rates fluctuate just so I see what happens, so I can report it to you and know what I'm talking about because I've done it. That is Your Credit Matters, brought to you by creditsanitizer.com. You have a credit report and it's wrong. What are you doing about it? Creditsanitizer.com. They have the solutions. And then if you want to talk about the debts, as I mentioned, if you want to get rid of that credit card debt, private student loan debt, maybe cars, we'll talk, it's possible. What else? Unsecured debt. Give me a call at 800-306-1990. I'll put you in touch with Chris Corrales. He and his team help with that portion. Not something that we do at Geneva, but Chris and his team do that portion. Continue our conversation this morning. Kathleen Garito is with us. KG Interior Designs is the name of the company. And we've been chatting about what the new trends are in interior design because I have no taste. And, you know, I can't even tell what goes together. If I was left to get dressed myself, I'd be in serious trouble. My wife will tell you that. 40 years almost. She's been helping with that. So I need professional help. How many of you do too? I'm just throwing that out. How many of you? Here's the bigger problem. How many people need professional help and don't think they need professional help? I bet you come up with that a lot, Kathleen.
I do. And, you know, I was thinking of a couple of other things you had asked me, like what's new and what's great out there. Flooring. Another good thing is the luxurious vinyl planks. And I know you and I have talked about those before, where they kind of look like hardwood floors, but they're made out of vinyl. So in California and in Florida, with floods and water damage and stuff like that, it's a great type of flooring to have. But now they've come out with the LVP, but in tile. And I just had clients recently just lay it over their existing floor. So there was no demo. They laid it over the floor and it looks amazing. So that's a new product that's out there.
What is that called again?
It's like a vinyl tile.
Vinyl tile.
Yeah. And, you know, it takes a certain house. I mean, this was a very nice house down in Del Rey. We put it on the first floor. It looks really good. Yeah. So it's just like the luxurious vinyl planks that we're used to, but now it's in like a 12 by 24 or a 24 by 24, like big tile pieces that go on the floor.
And do you have to have a big room for that, or can that be done in a condo or something like that?
Yeah, I think it's great for a condo. And this happened to be a townhome, you know, pretty large townhome, but we did it just on the first level. So it was just a great product, especially like I know living in Aliso Viejo, it was like leaks all the time, pinhole leaks. And it's just, you know, something that you don't have to replace the flooring.
Interesting. And is that expensive to do that, or can you do that in a rental property, or is that?
Yeah, you could definitely do it on a rental property for sure. And I do it to mid to higher end homes, some of them, you know, but you just have to get the right vinyl. There are cheap vinyls out there. If you go to Floor and Decor, you know, not putting Floor and Decor down, but some of their planks look kind of fake. They don't look like a wood or anything. But there are showrooms that have nice planks and tile that you almost have to feel it to believe that it's not wood. And
so I'm not going to be going and ordering it on Amazon because I got to go feel it first.
I probably wouldn't order on Amazon.
Okay. So that's another. Now, are they still doing it in that? I don't know the right color to call, like the light grays, or is that the right color to do something like that?
Well, if that's what you like, you could do that. But like I said, I'm doing more natural tones and more of the taupes, like taupes. Taupes are almost like the white oak is a hot wood right now that everybody wants to put it either on the flooring or on their cabinetry.
Interesting. Okay. So, and then obviously those things end up then pushing us to the next big project, I guess.
Yes.
Okay, so because once you change the floor, you got to change the walls. Once you change the walls, and you got to do the cabinets.
But don't forget, it all comes, in layers. So like you said before, what if a client doesn't have all this money? I always say do the hard stuff first. So it's like kitchen cabinets, the flooring, the bathrooms. Leave the furniture and the accessories and the carpet, like all of that, till after. But do all the hard stuff first. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
And then,
absolutely.
and layer it. Don't do it all at the same time.
Now, I think you had mentioned in a previous broadcast that we did together that you can change the accessories to even if you're not doing all the other modifications. Is that right? Still the case?
Move furniture around and then just change the color of the pillows and some of the accessories. Maybe it's a piece of artwork, and all of a sudden your home looks totally different.
Interesting. Okay, so just some ideas right there from Kathleen. What else is going on new? I mean, are there any things that you would think of that is a trend in artwork, or is it just what each individual's taste?
I think it's individual taste.
Okay.
Individual taste. A lot of people, like I know in Orange County, if they go down to Laguna, they might have a special artist, and it's the same thing here. Or, they might just have artwork that they've already invested in, and that's what they're going to use, and maybe reframe it to make it a little more modern.
So that could be it. It's the art is the same, but the frame might change the look. It might even look like a whole new piece.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Interesting. Okay, and are you still doing anything with staging, or is that the old school?
Yeah, no. I'm never going to do. Well, I shouldn't say never. I'm not going to do anything with the furniture because when I did the furniture, I was so big with staging in Orange County that my design kind of fell. Like I didn't have enough creativity time, and that's why I closed the furniture side of the staging. But what I'm doing is more of the consulting. What to do, what to declutter. I'll even rearrange things for them. And then one thing I wanted to let you know, I am doing my first women's build for Habitat for Humanity out here. I'm very excited.
Wow.
You had mentioned Habitat. I designed 4 homes out in California, and then I had the opportunity this spring to build a home for a single mom. And I'm super excited, and she's got a couple of children, and it's going to be so life-changing for them.
Yeah, my son went on a mission trip to build a home in Mexico.
That's awesome.
When he was in high school.
Uh-huh.
And you're exactly right. It was life-changing for them. I mean, he built basically what he considered almost a garage with a wall down half the middle, right, and curtain rods to make it called 2 bedrooms.
Yeah.
And the family just they were protected from the elements, and it was a whole new world for them.
Yeah. And Habitat out here is a little bit different than California. They're just really making a big difference in the communities, and it was just very heartfelt.
Well, you're a little bit closer to where the Carters were or are, and they were obviously big in Habitat for Humanity and did some great things for the organization and making awareness. So that was you're a little closer to where they are. So I guess that probably feeds in there as well.
Yeah.
Appreciate you checking in. I appreciate you sharing with us and this project you're working on for Habitat for Humanity. Good luck with that as well. And as always, we ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean for engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime. 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.